Hello and welcome to Earth Echoes with Amber Fields. Today I'm going to read a piece titled The Great Oil Lie, How Humanity Was Enslaved by a Myth by Jason Gray. For over a century, the world was chained to a story. A story so carefully crafted, so thoroughly enforced, that it became indistinguishable from reality itself. They called oil fossil fuel. They told us it came from the corpses of dinosaurs, from the compressed rot of ancient forests, from the sediments of forgotten swamps. They told us it was finite, that once it was gone, humanity would return to the darkness. It was a perfect story because it was a perfect lie. Oil does not come from death. It does not come from fossils. It is not the rare juice of an extinct era. Oil is abiotic, born from the living chemistry of the earth itself. It flows up from the mantle in deep channels endlessly generated by the planet's own interior furnace. It is Earth's blood, not Earth's bones. This secret, this simple, devastating truth was buried underneath mountains of propaganda. Why? Because scarcity is control. If humanity believed oil was rare, it could be priced. If oil could be priced, it could be taxed, weaponized, and used to enslave nations, and that is exactly what happened. The birth of the oil myth. The myth of fossil fuels was not an accident. It was a construction. In the 19th and 20th centuries, as industrial empires rose, the controllers needed a narrative. They needed the world to believe oil was precious, irreplaceable, and finite. They needed to make every gallon feel like borrowed time. Scientists who questioned this were silenced. Soviet geologists who discovered the oil reservoirs refilled themselves from deeper layers were ignored or ridiculed in the West. Wells that mysteriously regained pressure were declared anomalies, not evidence. The public never heard about it. The textbooks were rewritten to canonize the lie. It was not science. It was theater. A performance designed to convince the world that it must beg for permission to have light, warmth, and motion. The petrodollar trap. Once the myth was secure, the empire built its throne on it. Oil was priced exclusively in United States dollars. This was the creation of the petrodollar, the invisible chain that bound the world. Every nation needed oil. To get oil, they needed dollars. To get dollars, they had to bend to Washington's will, to play the banker's game, to submit to the empire's wars, treaties, and trade systems. The United States no longer needed gold. Black gold was enough. Saudi Arabia became the keeper of the illusion. Its supposed endless reserves turned the desert kingdom into a pillar of global power. Protected by American arms, the Saudis enforced the petrodollar pact, ensuring that the fiction of scarcity kept the system alive. But what if oil was not scarce at all? What if it was renewing itself, bubbling from the deep earth with or without Arabia's permission? The entire order would collapse overnight. Wars for a lie. Every oil war of the last century was a war to defend the myth. Iraq, Libya, Venezuela, Iran. Nations that tried to step outside the petrodollar system were destroyed, their leaders executed or toppled, their people thrown into chaos. Not because oil was scarce, but because the illusion of scarcity had to be protected at all costs. Billions died in poverty while rivers of cheap energy flowed beneath their feet. Entire continents were kept in darkness, told they could not afford what was already theirs. Families went hungry so bankers could keep their ledgers balanced. The cracks in the story. The lie was powerful, but not perfect. Wells refilled. Oil fields came back to life. Drill logs revealed depths no fossil ever reached, yet oil still poured out. Even mainstream institutions quietly admitted that hydrocarbons were being created deep below, yet they continued to parrot the fossil fairy tale. The truth was hidden in plain sight. Earth generates hydrocarbons continuously. Oil's not running out. Oil never came from dinosaurs. The phrase fossil fuel was a spell, cast not on geology, but on the human imagination. The collapse of the empire. Imagine the day the truth becomes undeniable. The leaked studies, the suppressed surveys, the confessions of retired geologists, the evidence of self-replenishing wells made public. The story breaks, the spell shatters, the petrodollar crumbles. Nations no longer need to kneel before Washington or Riyadh. The Middle East kingdoms collapse under the weight of their myth. The United States loses its financial scepter. The energy wars end not because oil has vanished, but because it has been revealed to be abundant, common, and eternal. The awakening. When the lie dies, humanity awakens. No longer enslaved to a false scarcity, people begin to imagine energy differently. Oil becomes one of the many gifts to be used wisely rather than hoarded. Solar, wind, water, geothermal, no longer pitted against oil, but woven together with it in harmony. The chains fall. The darkness lifts, and humanity learns that it was never energy that was scarce. It was truth. Jason Gray. Indeed, it is time that humanity is freed from the chains that confine it, and I do believe that we are in an era of great reveals and truth, and the lies are falling one by one, and as they do, humans can retake the power that was always ours. So if you like these readings, please like, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel and these recordings, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you.